Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Arasi, Commissioner Holland, Commissioner Sheard,
Here.
Commissioner Jensen, here. Vice Chairperson Jenkins,
Here.
Chairperson Durling.
Here. I'd like to open the session with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is the time of the meeting where if somebody has something they want to bring to the commission, some item of like to discuss or have us look into, but we cannot take any action on it. We can listen and comment. Seeing none, we'll go on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar is, if anyone who wants to pull it's just one item. If you want to pull it off the consent, you can do so. But if not, then I'll just take a motion to approve the consent calendar. It's approval of the minutes.
A motion that we approve the minutes of January 27th, 2022.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mine's not working.
Took a while, but
There we go. Got to knock it.
yeah.
Motion carries
Right.
with 4 yeses and 2 absent.
Thank you. Okay, going to public hearings. Probably the important thing to recognize for the people is that you only have a certain number of minutes, 3 minutes to make a presentation, and I'd like to have you try to stay within that. We'll go ahead and open the hearing. Item 2, minor, minor use permit for Dutch Brothers Coffee.
Mr. Chairman, staff has a request that agenda item number 6, the tentative parcel map, be moved up in front of item 4, if that's acceptable, because there will be applicants from the outside and such more involved in this item. So then items 4 and 5 would be the last.
Okay, 6 would be 3, 6,
That makes sense.
or 4.
Right after item 3.
Okay, so it's 1, 3, and then 6.
Yes,
Okay.
if that's acceptable to the commission.
Does anybody have a problem with that?
1, 2, 3,
Okay.
6.
All right. Staff want to make a presentation on the Minot use permit?
Yes, I will be doing the Minot use permit.
Hey, before we do that, I forgot already. So, getting senile here. We have a new staff member, and his name is Daniel Kopshever. Come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself. We'd like to get to know you. You have 20 minutes, so.
Hi, Commissioners. Good evening. I'm new to.
Stat.
There we go.
Oh, you guys are competing with the button.
There you go. You got it.
You're good.
Okay. My name is Daniel Kopshever. I'm new to Oroville, and I'm an assistant planner here. Just started this week. So thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I appreciate the time and the opportunity to work for and with all of you and the staff. So thank you so much.
Where are you from?
From Petaluma.
Petaluma.
Petaluma. Cool.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now to item 2. The Minot use permit. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't resist it.
Good evening, Commissioners. Connor Musler, Assistant Planner. This item is a minor use permit for the construction of a 950 square foot Dutch Bros Coffee with double drive-through lanes, walk-up service window, and associated site improvements at 2366 Feather River Boulevard, immediately north of the Maverick Fueling Station. The intended hours of operation are 24 hours per day. Oroville Municipal Code requires a use permit for all drive-through establishments in C2 zones. Dutch Bros is proposing double drive-through lanes with stacking to accommodate 19 vehicles. For comparison, the existing Dutch Bros on Oro Dam was designed for 4 vehicles stacking at the Spencer Avenue window and 6 vehicles at the Oro Dam window. So this one has substantially more room to accommodate vehicles. The way the site is designed, any excess stacking will be contained on private property. No new driveways are proposed on Feather River Boulevard. Access will be provided via existing driveways connecting to the Maverick site and the side access road constructed to provide a temporary secondary access to the Maverick while Caltrans and Maverick work towards a solution for the driveway on Oro Dam Boulevard. The city engineer has been working with the property owner's engineer to upgrade the side access road and driveway to city standards along the length of the Dutch Bros project parcel. Staff have included a condition of approval requiring that these improvements and frontage improvements be completed prior to issuance of certificate of occupancy. The applicant has submitted sign plans with their applications. As further detailed in the staff report, the sign program, as proposed, complies with the maximum allowed wall coverage for signs, but the orientation of the building and accompanying small square footage, Dutch Bros would only be allowed 50 square feet worth of signage. As proposed, they would be exceeding the maximum allowed by 100 square feet. This was a topic of discussion at the February 10th DRC meeting. Staff recommended at that time, due to the significantly smaller building square footage and smaller corresponding frontage, that the north and south sides of the building visible from Feather River Boulevard should be included in the maximum allowed square footage. This would allow a total square footage for the property to be 183.5 square feet, enough to accommodate the needs of Dutch Bros as proposed. We've also received one public comment from a neighboring property owner who has expressed concern regarding the direction and plan for the drive-through traffic and potential overflow. As mentioned earlier, Dutch Bros is proposing double drive-through lanes with room for 19 vehicles. The layout of the site minimizes the potential for spillback onto Feather River Boulevard. In addition, Dutch Bros does utilize order runners to minimize customer wait time, which helps prevent excessive queuing. Staff have added a condition of approval stating that under no circumstance shall vehicles spill back onto Feather River Boulevard. If this does become a problem, Dutch Bros will be required to work with city staff to address those concerns. The DRC reviewed the first submittal on January 13th, provided comment, and the applicant made revisions based on those comments. It went to the DRC again on February 10th for final review, and the DRC recommends approval of the project. There are multiple applicants from Dutch Bros here via Zoom. If they would like to make a presentation or answer any questions the commission may have.
Any questions of staff at this time? Okay, open the public hearing for item 2, the minor use permit for Dutch Brothers. Is there anyone here?
If any applicants would like to speak, if they could use the raise their hand feature on Zoom, I can unmute them. Otherwise, we do not have any public speakers here to speak on this item.
So nobody on the,
It does not look like any of the applicants are wishing to speak at this time
don't?
either.
okay, I just want
Oh, I do have one. Hold on.
do we have one?
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear from him.
Nick Wecker.
Yeah, this is Nick Wecker with Barghausen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes.
We hear-
Okay,
we hear
great.
you.
Yeah, I'm a senior planner with Barkhausen, representing Dutch Bros this evening to help answer any questions on our proposal. Thank you to Connor for the nice presentation. It covered a lot of the elements that needed to be discussed, including the orientation of the site, and this orientation really maximizing the queuing capabilities for this site. We can fit up to 18 or 19 vehicles in the queue, plus there's a bypass lane as well that can accommodate a couple more vehicles as needed. But this is a little bit different than the existing location that's in the city that only has one lane on each side of the building and only serves a capacity of 10. So this one's almost double the capacity at this proposed location. And so, anyways, happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Okay.
Do we hit a request or do we hit a request to speak?
Well, they're supposed to pop up on there and something there. Jensen. Okay. I think maybe. If there's nobody in the public that wants, I'll close the public hearing and turn it over to Planning Commission for discussion. And Jensen, I guess, wants to be the first one to talk.
Microphone. Okay, I'm still learning this thing. It's my second meeting here. Just a quick question. This is probably just a question back to Connor. You'd mentioned that there was a comment from the neighboring property, but I didn't really catch what the concern was.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. So the concern from the neighboring property owner, this was across the street, Feather River Boulevard.
Across the street, okay.
There are, I think, like a couple of small shop spaces, a state farm insurance brokerage over there. The concern was site access and potential queuing issues leading back onto Feather River, especially during peak times. So staff felt that the design of the site and this side access road here, where most individuals would likely be accessing Dutch Bros, would provide adequate space to prevent any spillback onto Feather River. So we believe that the concerns are already addressed through the site plan.
All right, yeah, so stuff that we've already, I was just gonna say it, that we've already addressed and have a plan for if it were ever to become a problem.
So if I'm looking at the map right, the people in line, the 19 people, are in no way in front of any business or encumbering any business, right? Whereas the other one in town, I do see that happen.
Correct. So this one here, north of this site plan and this orientation, so really it would be west. There's no businesses on this side, on the top part, or on the other side at this time. The nearest business would be Maverick, which is further south over here. If traffic were to become an issue, that would be quite a long ways to reach that access point to prevent any site access over there.
Okay.
Any other discussion with the commissioners?
Seems well planned. Great. Well vetted.
Are the signs that were on the property still there? Are they going to be removed? I was going to drive by today, but I didn't make it. There used to be a fairly tall, large sign on the property. Is that gone?
I believe the billboards, if that's what
Yeah.
you're discussing, those were removed by the property owner when the Maverick site was put in.
Okay.
So they're no longer there.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments, discussion? I'll close the hearing and turn it over to the commissioners for discussion if they want to talk about it, or ready for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve item number 2 as agendized.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second.
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 2 absent.
Okay, item 6. Let me get there. The heck happened to item 6? There we go. Okay, item 6, the tentative parcel map, 22-01. Staff, you got a presentation?
Yes, Matt Thompson, our city engineer, is on Zoom and will make the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Planning Commissioners. Thank you, Wes. Good evening, everybody. This is a rather straightforward parcel map. It is proposed by the developers to have an approximate 3.7 acre parcel in the back on which they plan to immediately develop a new retail establishment. They'd have 2 pads up in front for future development as restaurant or other kind of retail, and 4th lot in the back, which at one point they had talked about using for storm drainage. That's how the staff report reflects it. Few conversations with the project proponent. Later, they think they may have other plans for that in the future, and so making that available for development also would not substantially change the proposed parcel map whatsoever. It's anticipated when it's developed that it'll connect to the parcels to the south, provide circulation to the traffic signal there at Walmart, which will help alleviate the traffic concerns. There's a lot of concerns about trying to make too many improvements in front because of the proximity of the cemetery on the other side of the roadway. So that's our presentation for this evening. If you have any questions.
Okay, open the hearing. Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, the applicant, Brad Sobel, and others are here as well to comment.
On Zoom?
On Zoom, yes.
Okay, take them in order.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, this is Brad Sobel. And as stated, we have a project that was already approved for this site at the, I believe, the DRC level. And we are processing this parcel map to give us the number of parcels needed to allow us to develop our retail use and to have the property owner who will own the balance of the site be able to allow for, future development as they see fit. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, that would end my presentation.
Okay. Do you have anybody on Zoom that wants to speak?
Mr. Chairperson, I do not have any public speakers on this item.
Okay. All right, we'll close the public hearing and turn it over to the commissioners for discussion and motions.
So if I remember at the DRC meeting, and all the landscaping is going to be done on the whole lot? The sidewalk up opposite the retail development? Is that still a condition?
Correct. That was a condition of the entitlements for the tractor supply. So that was issued to the applicant for the tractor supply project.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Huh?
Cut and dry.
Nothing?
I motion that we approve item 6 as presented by staff.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Vote.
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 2 absent.
I just think you should get it from my mind, the yes vote. Goes right through.
Okay, we go on to item 3 now, minor use permit, used vehicle dealership. Staff?
Yes, this item is a minor use permit for Paradise Motors to establish a used vehicle dealership at 1450 Oro Dam Boulevard, Suite F. This is immediately east of the Oroville Ford dealership and next door to Jiffy Lube. Oroville Municipal Code requires a use permit for vehicle sales, all other, of which used vehicles falls under. The property is already developed with multiple vehicle service and repair businesses. Paradise Motors is proposing to lease an existing shop space, most recently occupied by Hertz Rental Cars. During the pandemic, Hertz closed down and did not reopen. The applicant has provided authorization from the property owner to display up to 18 vehicles for sale in the parking lot. Staff have reviewed the site plan and determined that the parking lot appears adequate to display vehicles without occupying any required parking spaces needed to serve the other businesses in the complex. You'll see in your packet, there's 2 photos, one from 2018 Street View, showing multiple vehicles within the parking lot. That was most likely when Hertz occupied the space and used that to store their vehicles for rent. And then one from 2021, I believe, that shows almost no vehicles in the parking lot. So this kind of shows that there is plenty of space for displaying 18 vehicles. The use permit has been conditioned, setting the maximum as 18. If the applicant wishes to expand and offer more vehicles for sale, they would have to apply for an amendment to their use permit. This is because this would give staff and the Planning Commission opportunity to review the application at that time to determine if there's any conflicts with fire department access, vehicle parking for other businesses, those things like that. The DRC reviewed the project on February 10th, and they recommend approval of the use permit.
Okay, do we have anyone from the public that wants to speak?
Mr. Chairperson, I do not have any public speakers here on this item.
Nobody on Zoom?
They're not able to access Zoom for public speaking, but there may be some applicants here.
Do
I'm
we
not
have
sure.
anybody from?
The applicant, Justin is on via Zoom, the applicant.
Okay, staff?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, first off, I want to say my name's Justin Cahoy, and I'm owner of Paradise Motors LLC. I also own Once and Done Motorsports. It's in Chico, California on Park Avenue. I was in Paradise for 9.5 years before the fire, and it burned us out. I immediately went to Chico, and now we're back in Paradise, but it's really slow. And God blessed us with an opportunity down there, and it looks like it'd be a good one if you guys give us the opportunity.
Do we have
That's pretty much all I have to say.
Have any questions of the applicant? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and turn it over to the commissioners for discussion and motion. How many parking spaces total are there?
18 according to
No,
staff. You mean the entire complex?
There's, yeah.
I'm not sure about the
There-
entire
there's-
complex.
There's about 24.
Yeah, so I thought so. Now, one of the problems that had been there when the used car dealership was there before was cars coming in and not having a place really to park who wanted to look at cars and getting in the way of people getting into Jiffy Lube. Are we doing
Okay.
anything to make sure that that doesn't happen this time?
Absolutely. So the spots that Connor is referring to are all on the, I don't know my east and my west, but it's against the fence line to Oral Dam. That'll be the display area, and the whole other half is for parking and Jiffy Lube, and everybody's in coordinates. We've all discussed it, and it seems to be like it worked just fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other commissioners want to discuss anything?
No, it's a great idea.
Just ready to move.
Yeah,
Yep.
great idea.
Close the public hearing and take a motion.
Move to approve the use.
Your mic.
I'll move to approve the use permit.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Please take your vote.
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 2 absent.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome to town.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Thank you very
We're
much.
glad to have you.
I'm glad
Absolutely.
it's working out for you.
We'll make it work. We'll all work together. I'll work with you guys on anything you need. So
We look forward to it. Thank you.
thank you. God bless your night. Bye.
Okay. Item 4, adoption of new city ordinance regulating massage establishments. Staff.
So Connie is here by Zoom and has spent many moons
Yeah.
preparing this.
How many years have we been at this?
This one's pushing a year.
Is it?
Oh, Connie, your mic.
She can't hear her.
No, we can't hear you.
She's getting it.
She's not good.
There we go.
There you go. There you go. So how long you been at this? Huh?
Well, good evening, Chairman Durling and Commissioners. I, as Don said, have been working many months on this document or ordinance, and I found along the way that massage regulation is a complex endeavor because you have so many different types of massage establishments and massage businesses, and many things to consider, many factors to consider. And then you have to decide on how you want to regulate each one. Basically, well, first I want to say that this ordinance, is in no way discredits the great massage therapists and body workers we have in Oroville now that are working professionally and complying with our municipal code and so forth. So it's regulatory heavy, but I just wanted to say that up front. So this massage ordinance, the factors that went into it is, one, we reviewed and incorporated the requirements of the California Massage Therapy Act that was enacted in 2009. And that act has regulations for not just the operation of massage establishments, but the conduct of professional massage therapists that work there. And also it created the Massage Therapy Council. And if you're not familiar with the council, they have worked with me, been very helpful. They've reviewed at least 3 versions of the ordinance over the last year, and they looked at this ordinance and gave us the blessing this week. So I feel it's a strong ordinance. We considered also what was going on with ordinances in other cities. We looked at San Rafael, San Mateo, Benicia, Santa Cruz, Los Gatos, and Fairfield, and Paso Robles were the 3 strongest ordinances I found that were a little more up to date than San Rafael and San Mateo, which is what I started with. So I guess I just want to go over first that it addresses massage establishments and independent sole providers. And massage establishments are like an office where there's an owner or owners that hire massage therapists either under contract or employ them to do massage therapy. And they may hire other staff like a manager and support staff like a receptionist or accountant, etc. The Massage Therapy Council certifies individuals, and we are requiring that all managers and persons providing massage therapy are required to be certified by the state, which means they need to have 500 hours of study at a school that was approved by the Massage Therapy Council. They have to pass a state exam and also pass a live scan criminal background check. So the establishments that are currently operating here, there's compliance language that indicates they have 12 months to provide, if they're not already certified by the state, they have 12 months to give us proof of an application being accepted by the California Massage Therapy Council. And they have 16 months to obtain their certification and a badge that's issued it's a photo badge issued by the state. So we're giving them a grace period here because it does take time to take all the courses, and the state requires a certain amount of time on anatomy, physiology, hands-on, maybe some clinical time, working on people, and as well as online classes that don't require hands-on. So it does take time, and I asked the Massage Therapy Council how long it takes them to process an application. They said 3 to 4 months, so we're giving them 16 months, so 12 months to submit the application and additional 4 to have it approved by the state. Let's see, so sole providers that are currently operating in the city are required within 60 days to submit proof that they've passed a live scan criminal background check. They have to submit an application called the general application for the city, and they need to complete a questionnaire that's pretty vetted and specific to how they're going to operate. Have they ever been convicted of or had a certificate suspended or withdrawn by the city or any other city and county that has maybe removed their massage therapy permit? So basically, we want to know, were they in trouble somewhere else? Let's see. So the sole proprietors, once they do all of that, then we issue, they have to be sure that their business license is up to date and active, and the same for massage establishments. So the facilities, I want to go over that a little bit for massage establishments. They are required to leave 75% of the window, any window facing a sidewalk or street, to remain unobstructed with signage or graphics. The windows can't be tinted. They need to identify the site at the front door or near the front door of the name of the massage establishment and the hours, mainly so officers can easily identify, and customers also identify where to go in. The establishments need to be well lit on the exterior, and the lobby or the waiting area, which is immediately inside the front door, maybe you call it the reception area, has to be well lit and without a dimmer. And the front door needs to remain unlocked during business hours for massage establishments. It's a little different for sole proprietors. The state law does allow independents to lock their doors during the hours. For a massage establishment, the hours are proposed at 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. or p.m. with everyone out by 10. Let's see. What else for massage establishments? They have to have a register of everyone who's working there. So if a police officer or other inspector of the city has responsibility for making sure they are in compliance with the law and the municipal code, can easily identify who's supposed to be there and what their role is. They have to maintain it for 3 years. They have to have the prices and the services, and they can't separate from that. And everything's paid up front. Customers need to leave through the front door and not the back door. And the employees can do that, though. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Before we issue a business license, we'll be doing a very vetted review of each applicant. So let's see. There is a handout that Wes provided, and it's in color, and so you can actually look at the differences of who needs what. So this will be at the front desk, so it'll be easy for our front desk people to know what's required, but also easier for applicants to see what they need to do. Sole proprietors, as I said, don't need the certification, but we do want proof of their education. And the city will be checking with the state massage or the California Massage Therapy Council to ensure that school is recognized, or it can be a recognized school by the American Massage Therapy Association. And there is a member of that association on the California Massage Therapy Council that also does hearings for people that are appealing decisions and so forth. That's it for my presentation. And what would you like to know?
Well, Connie, thank you for that excellent presentation. Connie has worked very, very hard to try and strike that balance between being onerous for legitimate businesses and doing what we can to not have the illegitimate businesses expand or proliferate here. She also worked very closely with Ron Belser and our code enforcement folks, and he has blessed what's in here as well. So one thing Connie did not mention is that when a applicant comes in for a massage establishment permit, and we have, I think, about 3 under process right now, they are given a checklist to fill out so that they basically agree to meet all these requirements. And then they do, as part of the zoning compliance, get an inspection by the building department, and planning has determined that we will also accompany the building department to make sure that they've met all the planning requirements as well. So Connie, did I forget anything else on that?
No, thank you for adding that.
Okay, open the public hearing on the item. Before that, is there any questions of staff by the commissioners?
I just had a question. Somebody that rents a room from a beauty shop or something like that, do they fall under sole provider or as an establishment?
Yeah, they would be like a secondary use to a primary use. And if they hire other people, then they become an establishment. Because a sole provider owns 100% of their business and is the only person working for that business.
So
yes, they would.
being in a business, the door, they are the sole provider because they have a room.
So
But
they
they
rent
have
that
a lobby
room
and
from
they-
the business owner.
Okay.
So I believe that at that point, they would be a sole provider, but they're just renting that space from the business owner. Correct me if I'm wrong, Connie.
No, that's correct. Sole providers usually rent a space or an office, and they may share it, with other independent people, but nobody hires other people under them. They work independently.
I had a question, and I don't know where it is exactly in here, but I was thinking of quite a few establishments downtown here that I think are just sole providers. They just have one room, and they're on
Right.
the street side, and that's where you enter and you exit, and they have all retail display windows, but they need to close their curtains because that's their only room, when
Correct.
they are working on a client. So
Sure.
where is that section, and is that wording appropriate so they will be able to run still in that fashion and have their retail display? I just wanted to make sure that wasn't going
I
to hurt
see,
them.
yeah. So a sole provider that displays maybe, I don't know what they're displaying.
Well, they're
That,
advertising in that display space, that retail display space, and then there's curtains behind that. I'm thinking of a lot of them on Myers.
Yeah.
Actually. So is this ordinance going to stop that? Is that going to make that difficult for them? Or will they still be able to function that way with one room?
That would be a
On a street sign.
situation, that would be a situation in which staff would determine upon our inspection that that is their only option.
Okay.
If it's a one-room retail suite.
Yes.
For that business, that they can have curtains, but they can't completely, for emergency purposes as well. One would still have to be able to access or to see in to make sure, but if that's their only room, we can make accommodations for that or exceptions for that.
Yeah, there's
So-
just the retail window.
It's going to be on a
But then-
case-by-case basis, and that's where that inspection is key for situations like that.
Okay, but basically, that is not allowed in the new ordinance. I mean, it's not
Fully-
automatically
yeah.
approved.
Can't be more than 25% coverage over the windows.
So they have to have a reception room, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Or a reception area that they can curtain off another section of their space. And then, of course, the licensing and the live scan and all those other things ensures that they are, legitimate body workers or
yes.
any of the other therapeutic types of massage.
Are you referring to sole providers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just a one person. I mean, I go to
Yeah,
something like that
it-
and I love it. I just wanted to make sure. All of a sudden I thought, wait, I'm not sure if this is going to affect them.
Yes, well, the public health, safety, and welfare comes first. So, the privacy is an important issue. And it's really those requirements that were mentioned for facilities. It's really more for facilities versus sole providers. Because if you look in the ordinance, you'll see that it's separate. That the discussion of the facilities really is under massage establishments. So like Don was saying, you know, we can look at a case-by-case basis for sole providers because, you know, you need the privacy, but it should still be well lit. When people walk in, they should still have a sign identifying their business and that type of thing.
Yes.
But it's not set in stone. We didn't put that in the ordinance. So we're kind of.
No, it's well lit and everything. All of a sudden, I just thought, I wanted to make sure that we were
Yeah.
gonna stop them from being
One of the
able to do
reasons that Connie is doing all of this is because she used to be a massage therapist, a sole provider herself.
Yeah,
So,
so you have a good perspective.
I sure do.
Wonderful. It's an important
It's a
career.
wonderful profession
Absolutely.
and it's really, I've just seen so many wonderful outcomes, you know, from doing sports massage, medical massage, and it's very rewarding. But
And right now, we have quite a few licensed with business license. I mean, I see them, so I'm assuming we're only going after that,
Right.
the ones
Yes,
that we know we're going after.
there are several that are licensed, and we want to look at, you know, when they expire too. But
Right.
Officer Belser will be sending out letters to establishments or sole providers. It's hard to tell from the website from websites or the internet. But you see, if you go to Oroville Massage Therapy, a lot of different types of massage businesses come up that are not licensed. So he's going to just send all of them a letter, whether they're operating or not. We don't know exactly, but it would take a lot of work to really figure that out right now. So, and there are, you know, the Massage Therapy Council has looked at some of the problem. There were 4 problem establishments here in Oroville, and one currently does not have a business license that is active. So the grace period of the 12 months and 16 months does not apply to any unlicensed establishment. But I know that Ron Belser has been keeping his eye on these types of businesses and actually shut down I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say it. It's probably been publicized anyway, but a massage establishment, he worked with the FBI and so forth and was successful in closing one of those down, like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But we there are more, so,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and so the purpose of the ordinance really is to not just protect customers that might get a massage that from an inexperienced therapist that might injure them, but it also is to protect the women that are being slaves, basically. The sex slave industry is out of control in California and through the country. So that was another reason for the Massage Therapy Act, was to just make sure that they are screened, they have a criminal background check, they have 500 hours of study. I guess the state council got rid of about 60% of the schools in the state that were selling diplomas and things. And they were taken off the list for approved schools, which we'll find on the council website. And many of them are still operating, but they're not approved by the Massage Therapy Council. So you can see approved schools and schools that are not, that have been removed for one reason or the other. And there's a police officer that works for the state council, and talking with him, he said that they've actually gone in and sat in on classes and so forth to see if their curriculum was adequate and so forth.
Great.
So this is our proposed wording for the ordinance, developed over many moons, as I said. And we've found, Connie's already found about 3 or 4 small inconsistencies that are not substantive changes, but we also, as part of this, would ask the commission to let us make those minor changes if it moves on to council. But if there's any significant changes to this, we would bring it back to the commission for review.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody have a problem with that?
No, I just want to make sure about something here. First off, hi Connie, I haven't met you yet.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Hi.
I look forward to meeting you.
Yes, you bet. And, I can tell that you've spent, or somebody has, and it sounds like it's you, has spent a lot of time and effort putting this together. I mean, this is quite a, substantial, bit of regulation here. And just by reading through this and hearing your presentation, I feel like I know everything that I had no idea that I didn't know about how both legitimate and illegitimate establishments operate, so I feel educated. My only concern, and I think you've kind of addressed this, is that, there's a lot here. I just want to make sure it's not too onerous on our, legitimate establishments. And I know that Commissioner Sheard had a question that kind of went into that direction. So I guess it's just a confirmation that, you yourself are a former provider, if you've heard from other, other massage providers in town, if this sounds reasonable to them. Nobody's here tonight to represent anybody from that industry, but that's the only concern.
I have not heard anything. It was advertised in the paper and posted on our website.
Oh, the new ordinance?
So Connie, if you were today.
Yes, for this ordinance.
If you were today going to become a sole proprietor or a massage establishment, would you consider this onerous to yourself, having had the process? Is that another way to put your question?
Sure, that's a valid question.
Well, I think, existing sole providers, they don't have to pay any fee or anything, but we need to make sure they have their business license. We need to know who they are and that they can pass a live scan and just give us some additional information about their business on the questionnaire and the agreement. And it just says that you agree to comply. Well, there's several items of agreement, but the last one is that you agree to comply with the ordinance. I'm sure that they won't be happy that they have to come in and submit.
Well, I just recall a lot of the facility requirements that are in here. I'm not going to try and pick through the thing because I don't know the first thing about operating establishment. I just want to make sure that they've had input and don't think it's too that they would agree with this. That the type of people who want the illegitimate establishments to go wherever, not here, right?
We did not notify the establishments. We didn't notify them individually.
Connie?
Yeah.
Connor, if I could just jump in.
Sure. Oh, yes.
Really quick.
Connor has been involved in this also.
So even though this is not presently adopted, our code does require, under the definition of personal services low impact, certified massage therapists. So that was done 2020 when we did some minor code updates. That was adopted in there to help staff clarify what kind of establishments fall under a personal service. What this code is doing, it really expands on that and sets in stone what staff looks for with an application. as Wes had mentioned, we do have, I believe, 3 active applications for business licenses for massage establishments. We have reviewed some of those applications against this code. We have issued as well some planning comment letters previously for other establishments, asking these questions. For example, 25% of the window coverage. That's currently adopted within city code under our sign regulations. So we've asked these questions of applicants within our planning comment letters that we issue. And for the most part, they have come back and met those requirements to satisfy staff. So we haven't heard a lot of issues arise when we've asked some of these questions that specifically pertaining to facility requirements or saying, are you CAMTC certified? If you're not, please submit documentation that you're in school to become CAMTC certified. You won't hire someone who isn't CAMTC certified, otherwise you don't fit within our code as it exists already. So while we haven't really spoken with massage establishments directly on this code, we've kind of treaded the waters and dipped our toes in a little bit to see how this works in the actual applying process. And it seems to be working out pretty good.
And I think to add to what our planning staff has been commenting on, also, Connie mentioned at the beginning of her presentation that a lot of this language was pulled from other ordinances from other jurisdictions that's currently active. And so I think that if it was onerous in those other jurisdictions, it probably would have been changed by now at this point. But also, if it's too onerous for some establishments, then they might not be the establishments that we want in our community. So I think that's something else to consider as well.
Like for Commissioner Sherrod, you mentioned you have a provider. Do you think your provider would be surprised to hear that there's this ordinance coming out?
I do, and I'm very supportive of the ordinance. But one thing I was wondering, well, 2 things, because Connie said that a sole provider is not an establishment.
Correct.
So the criteria, and I'm just on page 103, where you can't have the curtains, would that not apply to a sole provider who's working out of one room? And if it does apply, can we just add in something like what you said? If this is difficult for you, simply communicate with staff and they'll work with you. Just something, because I just thinking you give them this big packet and they look through, oh my goodness,
Well, and the curtains also falls in line with when that sole provider in that one-room establishment or one-room building.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse it with the establishment. That one-room building or one-room space, when they have a client and they are in session with a client, they can lock that door.
Yes.
So in addition to locking that door, they can draw the blinds.
Exactly.
Or the curtains. And so that will go along with that sole provider.
Okay. And I just didn't see a different section for sole provider, unless I missed it in here.
No, there is a separate section.
Okay.
One thing that we did set the hours for massage establishments to be end at 9:30. Most other ordinances say 10 o'clock, so I don't know, that might be onerous, but I was thinking everyone would be out by 10. So that's something that you can consider if you think that 9:30 is too onerous.
Any other questions of commissioners, of the staff? I have 1 or 2. Actually, the second one's not that bad. But, on page 101 of the agenda packet, or page 18 of the report, under prohibited conduct, item 4.
Okay, I'm getting there.
When you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, it says, talks talks about the employees and so forth. It talks about mobile massage service. Can you tell me what you mean by mobile massage service and how does that work under all these regulations? Are we talking about
Sure.
an employee that goes out to a home and provides a service? Or are we talking about somebody in a mobile vehicle driving around?
Oh, no, not a mobile vehicle.
Huh?
Not a mobile vehicle, no.
But that's,
It just means,
it doesn't say that. I mean, when it says mobile massage, if I were somebody applying for one of these things, I would think, oh, gee whiz, yeah, I could have a vehicle and drive to places and do a massage, because it doesn't say anywhere in the whole
okay,
document. that-
I could change that language. Most other ordinances call it outcall. And sole proprietors do outcall. They go to offices, people's residence. Same with massage establishments. They may have a therapist go out and do that combined with their on-site sessions. But the definition of mobile is, I guess, it's a place that is requested by the client, or it can be a place where the therapist decides to work at a sports event or a health fair, doing chair massage, that type of thing. So it can be like requested by the client or decided, a location decided by the therapist themselves. But basically, they're not in an office. They're not in their office doing massage, not at a fixed place of business.
Well, there is definition.
Yeah, it's
Is
not,
that a definition? Not a great one, huh?
it could, something that,
Maybe we could,
On 86.
huh?
On 86, isn't this kind of the definition section?
well, I don't really have that same numbering, but it says mobile and off-site massage, the engaging in or carrying on.
Yes.
Okay. At a client's residence, office, or by a massage therapist
That
or
defines
health
it.
fairs. I used to work at senior homes, do health fairs, sports events. So that's mobile massage. Now, for an establishment, the same requirements, even if they hire someone to just do mobile massage that is under contract or employed by an establishment, they still have to be certified. And the state does the live scan themselves before they certify each individual. So there's no acceptance for a massage therapist that's doing mobile massage. I mean, they're all treated the same. They all have the same requirements. They need to be certified. And also, I believe I put in here for mobile massage, well, actually, I don't think I did. I thought about it, was the locations that these therapists have gone to in the day.
What was
But I
that?
don't know. Then you get a little more onerous, so I don't know.
So,
You know, you
Mr.
go on and on and on.
Mr. Chairman, given that mobile massage is defined earlier in the document, is it okay to leave it as mobile under number 4?
What page?
86 in our packet. I think I saw it.
I mean, we could strike mobile and just say out-call or off-site massage.
No, I thought it. Yeah.
If mobile sounds like a motor vehicle, you know.
No, I think it's a good word. It sounds like what it is.
It doesn't, when I read the definition, what I'm saying is it doesn't talk about or prohibit or whatever of somebody in a motorhome or whatever conducting.
I think we can clear that up within the definition. Mobile
Yeah,
does not include.
that's where I'm driving at, you know.
Sure.
Either that or change number 4 or something, I don't know.
I think simply adding it to the definition that mobile does not
Because that's a
include
whole different
vans or
ballgame.
RVs or things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
that's
not
a
a
good
rolling
point, and
office.
we'll be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the only major comment I had on the document. I had a picky one.
That's okay. Be picky now.
Sometimes picky ones can turn out to be bad.
It's okay.
And number 9 on the same page.
Page 101.
What page?
Huh?
Oh, 101.
101,
Okay.
number 9, let me know when you're there.
Is it a definition?
No, this is,
It's on page 18
prohibited
of your,
conduct.
of your,
Ordinance.
Prohibited conduct, number 9.
Okay.
101.
Right, gotcha. Okay, I'm there.
I don't know how picky this can be. If somebody comes in barefoot, do they get thrown out? I mean, what about shorts? What's defined as, I probably missed it, but I don't think fully dressed is defined in the definitions, is it? What is meant by fully dressed?
Well,
it's maybe there and I
it's gonna-
missed it, but the bottom line is, somebody comes in sandals and shorts. Is that
That's okay.
fully dressed or not fully dressed?
Well, it's really more about the therapists and what they're wearing, but also, I believe in here it says that clients also,
Or visitors.
It says no clients or visitors.
right, okay, there you go.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand what that
Sure.
means and who enforces it. Summertime, you see people all the time in sandals and shorts and whatever. They can't go into a massage parlor? Is that what this is saying? I know it probably sounds picky, but, I don't want it to turn out to be something serious.
Connie,
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead, Connor.
Apologies if I'm reading this wrong, but I think that is partially answered in number 8 before that, on that same page. Attire that is transparent or see-through, swim attire, exposes a person's breasts.
I know, I read that, but it doesn't.
If that is our constitution of what is not considered fully dressed, I believe that would be covered as well under 9.
Yeah, and that comes right out of the act, but we could add also that,
Well, to me,
customers cannot come in wearing see-through, see-through
I
clothing.
understand all that. What I'm saying is, it just says fully clothed. It doesn't say what you mean by fully clothed. If you go to 8,
You put an asterisk.
it doesn't get you there.
well,
Wait, where-
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
the way that I would interpret that as staff would be that if you have shorts and a tank top, you do not have outer garments of transparent material, so you're okay.
Whoa. It's talking about clients. Those are the people coming in.
Right, if you come in for a massage
Not
and you're
talking about
wearing,
staff.
It says except for a client.
you're wearing short shorts and a tank top, then that's fine. That's just like you'd be out in the street somewhere.
Well, I'm probably the only one here that has a problem, so if I'm the only one, then forget it. But I can see it's just not clear enough for dumb little old me.
Some lawyer wrote that,
Huh?
Some lawyer wrote that.
I just, anyway,
I mean, I see it as being a little bit open for interpretation, but that's good. I mean, if one massage therapist isn't comfortable with it, but another one is, they could say, hey, you're not fully clothed, and turn the client away. I mean, I'm fine with a little bit of, or the code enforcement officer is thinking something might be going on. He could be saying, hey, that guy's not fully clothed.
Yeah.
Well, if they're not allowed to be, like that in public, we wouldn't
I'm like
want
I'm
them.
outvoted. That's fine. I just read through the thing and
Well-
already had those 2 issues, so.
So for the alcoholic beverages, it does talk about clients and visitors cannot bring in drugs and that type of thing.
Right.
I don't know if we could, if
I think this
if
is
we could also
really,
add that customers, that the managers and owners shall ensure that customers and visitors are, I don't know what the language would be exactly, but
Commissioner or Chairperson Durling, I really believe that this language was here with the intent to deter those establishments that we're trying to deter within our city limits. So I think it's us as staff or as this body being too nitty-picky with that will make it a little more difficult or onerous. This language, you know, the manner that it exposes a person's buttocks or, you know, I think that's really with the intent that we're trying to deter those bad establishments. So,
Yeah, not tank top and shorts.
right.
Right.
one more thing I wanted to add was sole providers. There's a definition in there of other bodywork therapies. So when you think of massage, it's the manipulation of the outside of the body, you know, by pressure, friction, and so on and so on. And so like craniosacral massage, ashiatsu, acupressure, et cetera, those all kind of fall under the language of massage. So we are requiring that sole providers that are not just massage therapists, but they may do other types of body therapies are included in this ordinance. So if someone comes in, I do Bowen or whatever, they are also required. So we don't want to get stuck on, oh, but you're not a massage therapist. You don't do a massage, you do something else. No, they're still included in the ordinance requirements.
And I'm sure the people we're trying to stop will find a way around. That's what they're good at, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, gosh.
Say they do something else, so, yeah, it's great.
Just so long as we're not discouraging or chasing out any legitimate
Right.
folks. I think that's
Exactly.
That's what I
That's the
don't
main
want to
thing.
happen.
Yeah.
Encourage
Yeah, no,
one,
that would not be
discourage
our
another.
goal. But they
Okay,
do need to have their business licenses and.
Yep.
any other questions of staff? Do we have anybody from the public?
No, sorry.
Nobody?
I was
Okay.
reading
Close the public hearing. We've had a lot of discussion. Probably don't have any more amongst ourselves, but, so we're ready for a motion. And it's an item that's recommended to go to, it's a recommendation to the city council. So you need to make sure that motion deals with that. Or adopt a resolution, I guess, whatever.
We would move to recommend
Yes, yep.
and stay with minor.
Proofreading.
Yes, proofreading edits and making sure that all the paragraphs are consistent with each other.
Yeah.
The resolution is the recommendation to council.
Gonna take a
Just-
try for it?
Yeah, I will so move.
Go ahead.
Move to adopt resolution P 22 or 2022-01. Do I read the whole thing or what?
No,
Okay.
with the corrections.
With the copy editing corrections for consistency across the resolution.
Yeah, from staff.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Take your vote.
Motion carries with 4 yeses and 2 absent.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Now, how quickly will I see
Thank you,
this?
Connie.
thank you
ordinance?
for
Thank
your
you so
hard
much.
work.
Yeah.
Golly.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't say I don't like that. That's too long.
Okay, members, put your historic preservation award, or historic preservation commission hats on.
We all need old hats.
Yeah, we just switch hats.
Top
You know, you go-
hats.
Okay. And so item 5, Historic Preservation Award Program of the Oroville Historic Advisory Commission, which is us. And guess who gets to take the first crack at it?
I'll make a short presentation and then,
Oh, you're not going to let her go first, huh?
no, but she'll weigh in, I'm sure. This item was suggested by Commissioner Sheard, and the commission directed staff to develop possible criteria for a historic preservation award. Commissioner Sheard and Durling and staff met on January 13th and developed the criteria in front of you tonight. Key features are that the award would be administered by the Historic Advisory Commission with staff assistance, that the award would be targeted to outstanding period-appropriate architectural and landscape restoration, and those that have done that. We would ask the city council to make the award presentations at a city council meeting. We thought that one awardee per year was an adequate frequency, and the awardee would receive a plaque, press recognition, and hopefully more publicity for the award and for the individual and the structure. The plaque would be suitable to be placed on the structure as well. We agreed that because of budgetary considerations and also for publicity purposes, we would solicit corporate sponsors to help cover the costs of this and also add publicity, and that there would be press activity sponsored by the city, public statements and such for this. So staff recommends initiating the award as presented.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Let you go.
I think the reason for this is because, well, we have some people who are caring for their buildings in an exceptional way. So that was, the criteria is so important, I think. Outstanding period appropriate architectural and landscape restoration. And my goal was to really have something that was also economically stimulating of our local economy. And it's also really important to me that they comply with codes, the general plan, and zoning ordinances. Just something where we really, as a city, show people who take care of a structure with this kind of care and all the money that goes into it, that we show them that we care. And if they could get some publicity, we could hopefully encourage more. I was also wanting it to be very much that the building's getting the award, the structure. I don't know if there's a way possible or if the wording changes a bit, but I'm not looking at it so much like we're honoring the owners, because the owners could sell. I was just thinking the building should receive the award, although I know there is also a business in the building sometimes, so I wasn't quite sure about that. Because Jackie had brought up a point that we don't want to just keep giving awards to the same people, you know, and I think that's important. I'm really looking for just the building to be honored, kind of like a national historic building is on the
Not
registry.
just honoring the building, but the history of the building.
Yes,
There you go.
that they have in their restoration honored the history. They've done it appropriate, but yet they've also done a reuse that is appropriate to today. So that's that balance.
First of all, I appreciate you participating in the discussion. In the committee meeting, just back up. The building at the northeast corner of Montgomery and Myers, was originally a Bank of Italy, not Bank of America, but Bank of Italy. It started out as Bank of Italy and then converted to Bank of America. To me, that is in a historic, I don't know about the building, but it's in a historic use, a historic commercial or whatever, I'm not sure how to describe it, because that bank, through that bank, many of the businesses and economic development activities were funded through loans from that bank. And what I want to see in this is that when we discover that type of thing in a building or a place or a lot, that we're able to include that in a recognition of the historic significance. So it's just, I'm not explaining my point very well, but I think you get what I'm trying to get at.
It's kind of item C, maybe, on awards criteria. How they have under award criteria, item C, part of the criteria is an evidence of an understanding of and dedication to the history of the structure within the context of Oroville's history.
But it's not necessarily the structure itself, it's just the use.
That's part of its history.
Huh?
That's part of its history.
Yeah.
Its
so
use.
It's not just a building
Right.
thing that we're trying to get preserved or recognized, but it's a use. The establishment of first-time uses 70, 80 years ago, whatever they might be. For us as a city to recognize those efforts by people who took risks and everything else to help build Oroville to what it is. Not just.
So if I'm hearing it right, you want to make sure that it's within the award for the building,
Yeah.
that you recognize the historical uses of the building and maybe some of the key persons who were responsible for making those uses happen.
That's one side of the coin, but what I'm saying is the building itself may not be historic, but the use could be very historic. I don't know if the building there, it's Bank of America.
It was Right Out Bank at the beginning, and yes, I think it had like I've studied it. It had, before it was Bank of Italy.
I think he's referring to the Eagles Hall.
Yeah, that used to be the Right Out Bank and the Bank of Italy. And now so I would not, as that building sits right now, think it deserves an award, although it has a wonderful history, because it is not architecturally, I mean, the windows are
That's
stuccoed
what
It
over.
would need to be restored.
That's
Yes.
what I'm
Yeah.
driving at is, are we just only interested in the building, how it's built? Or we also, to me, should be interested in what occurred in
Yes.
that building, regardless of its quality.
So what is that? That's almost a different
I'm
type
just
of
saying-
award.
I'm just
or-
saying it should be maybe a separate award, or we should
Yeah.
recognize the efforts of people, not just the buildings.
So let me suggest a rewording of award criteria C, and then I'll throw it open. It may not be exactly what you're looking for, Chairman Durling. It might read something like, evidence of an understanding and dedication to the history of the structure and the value it has added to Oroville's history. It still focuses in on the structure, but it stresses more now the value of the history.
Okay. I
And
mean,
the
if you don't-
people,
If
we
you
could
don't
add
want to do it, that's fine. I'm just
yeah.
raising it because it says the structure within the context of Oroville history. What I'm saying is the business, the activity or whatever, it's a separate thing. Maybe it's an item G that we should be, to me, if we're going to be historic, it's got to be more than just buildings.
Well, and maybe have,
To me, history, I'm a history nut, and that's, you're probably catching on to that, okay? But to me, if we're going to recognize and preserve the history, it should be more than just a building, because eventually we're going to run out of buildings, and therefore we're going to run out of a job. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Well, I think that should
There's
be
only
a-
so many buildings in Oroville that, can be historic.
Right.
And when you get to the last one, what do? But there's a lot
Celebrate.
of buildings and places that are significant in the growth and development of Oroville long before it became a city, back in the,
So we could either have it be combined factors for the nomination of this award, or we can have it be either or factors for the nomination of this award. Have it either being outstanding achievement in architecturally correct or period appropriate preservation of the building, or the, what you're saying, the history of the business or that specific location, not necessarily the building itself. That broadens it a little bit so that there's more than just the building being architecturally preserved as a period appropriate building.
I don't know. You got my point.
This-
Whatever you want to do,
It sounds like it's two different things to me. It sounds like Carl would like historical plaques
Yeah.
for significant things, and it sounds like Commissioner Sheard would like the modern award for
Preservation of the structure.
what's happening right at this moment.
It says specifically here, downtown and citywide historic revitalization. It sounds like this is an award that is to encourage investment in the historic, not just preservation, but the restoration of historic buildings in Oroville.
And I think you're going to get some of that, such as like Natalie or Commissioner Sheard's presentation last meeting with Judge Gray's house. I mean, the plaque could say Judge Gray's house.
Absolutely.
And then, so it's incorporating the history into the plaque. So I think most of the time, you're probably going to see both sides of that when you guys select an
I don't know
a
anyone who
winner.
has a historic building who doesn't know all the history that they can dig out of everywhere that went on in that building, and they're so proud of it. And then, yeah, I've fallen in love with the people who founded Oroville just from reading about all the buildings. It's incredible. But
risk.
my bias was to try to honor people who are caring and restoring and also helping our economy be revitalized. So I guess I do have a little different, if I pick, I'm a little more that way, but I love the history too.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents, and you guys can do whatever you want. I just feel, what's the title of our committee? What's the title?
The Historic Advisory Committee.
Historic. It doesn't say historic building, so forth.
Right.
We are the planning commission.
We're talking about history.
Yes.
And somehow, to me, what we have right now is inadequate in dealing with significant history that should be recognized in some fashion.
Can it be part of the administration of the award?
I don't know.
Because to me, that would be really cool. When it's presented by the city council.
Yeah, but you'll never get the Bank of Italy recognized as a historic business and use, because the building will probably never be historic.
You mean it won't be revitalized? They won't restore
Well, I
it
mean,
to what it
even if
was?
revitalized, is it a historic building?
Yeah.
It's kind of blasé. in a
Well,
way.
yes, it's not a
I'm saying,
restored historic
How do you
building.
define historic building?
Right.
I mean, to me, the building is, okay? It isn't,
It's not outstanding period appropriate
no.
architecture.
Okay?
But I know that
But
the
the use was significant for Oroville,
Yes,
horribly.
I
mean,
know.
Incredible.
Well, I know.
There's businesses going on that never would have gotten started without funding
Right.
I know.
by A.P. Giannini through Bank of Italy. He was all over every small town in in California, mainly Northern California, but, and I probably push it too hard. That's, my adopted family is back in Giannini's. I was raised, so I maybe push it too hard, but to me, it's not just the Bank of Italy, it's other uses that were significant. And to me, if we're going to preserve history, it should not just be buildings,
Yeah.
static buildings. We have to have somewhere in our job or our calling for preserving history to preserve Oroville. What is Oroville? It's not just buildings.
It's the people and what
It's
they
the
did.
people. It's the uses, it's the activity. And I would like to see, and you guys can throw me out, that's fine. What we're doing, this ordinance or whatever you want to call it, to include the encompassing of those types of things. Anyway, I'm beating the dead horse here. but-
I've seen some things in some other cities. I don't know if anybody's ever gone over the Beckworth Trail route. They have occasionally the railroad ties with the plaques, little description of Beckworth Trail. Other places have something like you could do a history trail where, you know, you get the brochure like the maps and these are all the places and all the history, all the historical.
Recognize them,
And
yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah, because
And you could recognize everywhere,
Right.
because otherwise it would take a long time to recognize all those places that you know people would like to recognize. But this award is a totally different subject, I think. But I totally agree with what you're saying, but I think it needs to be taken a different route than this one.
Or, I
You
don't
could
know.
set a plaque in the sidewalk
If we're gonna
in
have a
chosen places, or
historic preservation document, it should include historic preservation. For example, the roundabout, the railroad roundabout south,
Yeah.
okay? That's historic.
I know, it's wonderful.
Oroville would not be Oroville if we didn't have that central railroad facility. It was incredibly functional and incredibly important to the economic growth of Oroville. And that's what I'm talking about.
A question.
Huh?
I'm sorry, could I ask a question? Has anybody written any books or that type of thing that would cover all this? And then
We have
you
like
could
4.
tie a plaque or a monument to that book? I was just thinking, my mother did this in Martinez. She was president of the Historic Society, and she covered for 25 years, before Ancestry.com, she interviewed all these old folks before they passed away and documented it in a book, and then talked about all the history that happened in Martinez. And then they put plaques in all the different places to coincide with the book, which would be a really cool thing if we could do that, or if somebody's, you know, in the community would be interested, maybe have a little committee to put it together. I don't
The
know.
Butte County Historical Society has
Yes.
the Diggins and the Slickins, and they are great publications that cover,
Yeah.
and they have them all saved. And then we do have a lot of historic Oroville books also.
But that's not recognition.
Right, so
And-
you're wanting a plaque
It doesn't necessarily have
to
to
just
be.
recognize, okay, another thing jurisdictions do are we already kind of have it in the Historic Society. You're wanting a recognition from city council, kind of a big, like, are you maybe saying we pick one that is architecturally outstandingly restored, and maybe we pick one a year that just has historic significance?
Yeah, for example, what I would see for the roundabout, the railroad
Yep.
thing, is we as a commission get a hold of the railroad company and say, we want to recognize what you contributed to Oroville. and present you a and whatever, and have the council, please come and have the council, we want to recognize what you've done. Have somebody from Bank of America come and say, we want to recognize your contribution to what Oroville is. To me,
I like that.
that's history.
So that could, we
It's
could
not
do.
just buildings.
Right. So it almost seems like a separate award,
I don't-
but it could be coming from the Historic Advisory Committee.
However it's done, I'm just saying, based on what is written right now, it's not done.
Well, I think too, Chairperson Darling, something that you're talking about too is kind of the Registry of Historic Places. We have that, and we have 28 locations in Butte County that are on that Registry of Historic Places. And so that registry gives the history of that specific location and why it's so instrumental to that community. And so, even encouraging these property owners to register these historic locations on that historic, it's the California Registry of Historic Places. And so we were working on the Lot Home at one time as well, but there are many, the State Theater, the Stansbury House, several locations that provide that history, that recognition. And so this could enhance that locally.
If I may too, just jump in really quick, kind of coming off what Don said, one of the things that other cities do, and I know Oroville tried to do before, but we've run into staffing issues. I see this first historic award here as the first step. As Oroville staffs up, as we get more time to focus on things like this, we can definitely do more awards like those with our museum curator who specializes in history to present these kinds of things. But another function too, and I know the city of Pasadena does a great job with historic preservation, to create that registry that staff can easily find, that the public can easily find, of local significant historic places. To have on our website somewhere, this building doesn't exist anymore. For example, the Oddfellows house out in Thermalito, this building doesn't exist anymore, but why is this site significant to Oroville's local history? So I see that as an action moving forward, to create sort of like a local registry or update the one that we may have somewhere within our files in the basement or something to reflect that, to put out to the public on our website or promote that at a council meeting at this committee level.
But in that example you just used, to me, you get a current representative of that organization or whatever you want to call it, and present an award to them and recognize what they have done. The building's not there, but they're still here.
Right.
Okay? And they need to be recognized. You wouldn't have any buildings to preserve if it weren't for all of that. And all I'm saying is, to me, if we're going to preserve, recognize, and try to preserve history,
It's time to go home.
in my opinion, sounds like I'm all alone, but in my opinion, we're not covering it in this document. And either need another document, or we need to design this document so that it talks not about buildings, but about businesses or significant. The two I come to mind is the Bank of America and the roundabout. I'd love to have somebody from the railroad industry, whatever, in front of city council. And you think about it now, okay, now what you're doing is you're recognizing business. Okay? And what do we want to bring to Oroville? We want to bring good business. Well, maybe one of the ways is we start recognizing what business has done. But we're not doing that in this document. And I'll shut up now, and you're probably tired of hearing me, but that's my point. period, end of discussion.
But do you think it could be added to this as this is presented now, or do you think it needs to be a separate? Maybe we have that on the agenda for something separate, or we just,
I don't know. I'd go with whatever you guys want. I'm just tired of beating on you guys. Just, you got my point, however you want to do it.
and I do think,
fine.
like what Connor said, that this is just one step of many. And my goal was to not have this so heavy on staff, just because I know that we're probably understaffed and that we are supposed to be looking at our structures. I think that is part of the duties of the commissioners. We're supposed to advise the city council on the historic nature and historic value of any landmark and landmark sites. So that could be sites, just what you're saying, and to recommend guidelines, and to promote and conduct educational and interpretational programs. I mean, so really reading this, both type of awards and both efforts are really covered.
I said I'd be quiet, so I'm going to be quiet.
To advise the city council on the historic nature of any landmarks and landmark sites. Well, we are supposed to be doing that on B of our duties.
And this is written, really talks about, really talks about the infrastructure and encouraging property owners to restore buildings to what? Period appropriate architecture. That's really, it seems to be the focus of this in particular.
Yes, I would say that was my focus. But then I love how, C, evidence of an understanding of the history. But one of our duties is also to advise the city council on the historic nature and historic value of landmark and landmark sites.
Which is important.
Yep, and to conduct,
Absolutely.
all of those are important.
That's getting close to what I'm talking about.
Well, that is
So-
listed duty that we're supposed to be doing.
But you look at the whole document, doesn't, I mean, it mentions it there and then that's it.
Well, because this is just taken right from, I don't know what this is taken from, the city code of what we're supposed to be doing. This is exactly what our committee is supposed to be doing. The duties of the commission.
I'm trying to be quiet here.
No, we don't want you to be quiet, but
It just, to me, the way it's written doesn't fulfill that part of it.
right, it doesn't.
So how about we take this back to the committee and we enhance it?
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whether we try and satisfy both of these related purposes, they're related purposes.
Absolutely.
With one award, or if we have two separate things, for lack of a better term, going on, I don't
have
know.
an
I mean,
award
it's-
for a business or
Right.
an activity, an award for a building. To me,
Yeah.
those are the two things that make up the history of Oroville.
Right.
You can't get away from that.
I would recommend that we meet again. We'll table this for the minute, we'll meet again, and then we'll bring it back when we've been able to enhance it in a way that the committee is satisfied.
And maybe bring in B on our duties. Yeah. No, I love it.
And then, just to make a note, to be the program goals, number B, to preserve and glorify Oroville's historic heritage and values. So I think that's what Chairman Durling wants to add to this award, if possible.
Well, you want to have another committee meeting and just
Sure.
go over it?
I think we should.
Okay, staff, you're gonna have to decide when you can fit it in. Let us know. You're
That's
gonna have
fine.
the same people?
Same
Or you wanna
people.
get
Does
somebody
anyone
to
else want to come? No, you
Get
should come.
beside
Do we
me.
want, we can have it small.
You are an integral part of this
Yes,
committee.
you're doing it.
And
What?
so, I said you are an integral part of this
Yes.
committee and we believe that you should still be involved.
Yeah,
I-
absolutely.
We're not permitting you to
I
excuse
just
yourself
don't wanna-
from the committee.
It'll be better. It'll,
You get the feeling that I feel very strongly about this.
I know. We understand that, and we would like to make this to
I'm a
where all
history
committee,
nut.
our commission members are in approval before
Absolutely.
it goes forward.
Well, you guys set up the time and place and.
We will.
And let us know. Give us a week or so in advance.
Okay.
And does the committee have to only be the two of us, or could anyone else volunteer who wanted to be on the committee?
We
Well,
can't
You
have,
gotta be careful about
Oh,
having
okay.
too many
Yes.
people.
I never know all the rules.
Yes.
Okay.
So just the two of us will be
Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Or replace me with one
No,
other, you know.
no. I want you in there. No, absolutely. Okay.
So we'll expect to hear from you sometime.
And late in the
Fit it into your
afternoon.
schedule. You guys are busy, so
Alright.
just fit it into your schedule.
A DRC, when we do it on
Let us know.
DRC day.
we are here to serve the pleasure of the commission.
Thank you. I really do appreciate
Awesome.
you continuing this so I could browbeat you.
You're fine.
Love it.
Okay, where are we? What am I doing? I'm still conducting, aren't
Commissioner reports is next.
I guess we're down to reports, discussions, and correspondence. Do we have any commission reports? No commission reports? How about staff? Do you have any
Yes.
reports from staff?
Yes, I'll be quick and just comment on a couple of things. At the DRC meeting, February 10th, besides the Dutch Brothers project, we talked about a Trinity River log deck that is being moved from Cal Oak to 3007th Avenue, all within the industrial district. And their move has commenced. They had lost their lease at this location and have been able to acquire a new lease a little bit south of the Walmart. Also, a 780 square foot detached garage at 2459 Foothill Boulevard was approved by the DRC. Upcoming is anyone here going to go to the League of Cities training for commissioners? Anybody signed up? Okay.
As at this time, only Commissioner Rossi has signed up.
It would be good for any commissioners that haven't had any training. I mean, it would just,
Yeah.
you know, they're really good. I mean, I've been,
Middle of the week.
I've been in my profession for 30 years, so.
Yeah.
I can't be gone from work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weekend.
It's 2 days during the middle of the week in San Ramon, so it's
Yeah.
quite a commitment, yeah. The housing element, which we mentioned before, is under preparation. The new required sixth cycle housing element that goes before Housing and Community Development for state review to make sure that we have the appropriate set of policies and goals for affordable housing and market rate housing and encouraging vibrancy in our housing market. So the administrative draft has just been reviewed by staff. It's moving forward. It'll now go to HCD for an informal review prior to heading to the Planning Commission in March or April of this year. So it could be as early as your next meeting, perhaps in April. And that's a 200-page document,
That's a
so
light reading, huh?
light reading,
We do that every 2 years, is it?
every 5
Every
years.
5
yeah.
years, okay.
So on March 1st to the council, we'll be going the first hearing on attaching Ruddy Creek to the special districts, the community service districts that exist out there. And Connor is spearheading that project. Nothing as yet is set for the Planning Commission meeting on March 24th, but we are confident that there will be plenty that comes up. To council on March 15th will be a contract with PlaceWorks to proceed with the circulation element update in order to follow the state's requirement to add vehicle miles traveled to that element and to evaluations that we do for housing projects and other significant development projects. The fence ordinance first reading, which this planning commission approved on January 27th, will also be going to the council on March 15th. And Connor, do you have any comments or anything to add on that?
Working on it. Slowly getting there.
Okay. And that's all I have.
I'm good. You've met our Mr. Kopshever, so we are delighted to have him aboard as a part of our team. And just to update you actually regarding the Maverick Fueling Station and the improvements, the frontage improvements along Oro Dam, they are still awaiting their final approval from Caltrans for their encroachment permit. It has been a year-long process. They are still working with Caltrans on the final details. I think the final comments were sent back to Caltrans and issuance was supposed to be last week or this week. So I'm assuming since tomorrow's Friday, they should have word of their final issuance for that encroachment permit. So I know that has been a big point of discussion in the community, which has been abated. Yes. So that is now, they have demolished all they need to demolish. They're removing the remaining debris off site and they will commence with the reconstruction here very soon.
Anything else? Anything else from the commissioners? Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting. Next meeting is March 24th, 6, right here, this time and place.
This time and place?
Yep.
I didn't